Welcome to the Philosopher's Games. Finally, we got the announcement trailer for the second Dark Souls 3 DLC. It will be called The Ringed City, and it is most likely the last piece of content for the Dark Souls series in general. Fun fact, it is also the first DLC title that does not include the word "off". And it will be released at the 28th of March 2017, which is 2 weeks later than I predicted in my guesstimating video, and I called late March release date a bit strange, but it still makes sense to release it either before the big release block or after it, and they decided to release it a week after the Mass Effect Andromeda release, which is still a good decision, but they will collide with the Kingdom Hearts HD 1.5 and 2.5 remix release for the PlayStation 4, which was the reason for me calling it a bit strange. And with this we go right into the trailer analysis. This includes spoilers for the new DLC and all previous content. If you don't want to know anything, you should stop here. The first question would be, where is that Ringed City? As mentioned in my last prediction video, it is very likely that DLC number 2 will take place in the land of the Hollows called Londor. The data mine title Undead of the City indicated that, but what hints are in the trailer? Well, we have this building with a symbol on its top, and it pretty much looks like the sword of a vowel. Its description says clearly that it is a ceremonial sword of Londor. So this could be the Sable Church of Londor. We can also read, a tower rises above the clouds. At its top stands a well-known sword. That is from the official photo album of the second DLC, and it feels like a confirmation for me that this must be in Londor and that this is most likely the Sable Church of Londor. There's another small hint.
The close of the Age of Fire.
The narrator sounds a bit like that NPC pilgrim that gives you the sword of a vowel, even though she dies after the ritual. With all that said, it is very likely that this DLC lets us visit Londor, but there are more small things in the trailer. For example, we can see a windmill ruin. It reminds some people of Dark Souls 2's Earthen Peak. In general, this trailer seems to have some Dark Souls 2 references. We also see this place that is called Dragheap in the published screenshots. We can read Dragheap, the furthest end of the world. Various remains from different historical periods have accumulated over time, resulting in high towers. It seems to consist of ruins of different time periods from the Dark Souls universe, and maybe Earthen Peak is under it. Dragheap is also very reminiscent of all those ruins in the background of the area around the Kiln of the First Flame, where you fight the final boss in the main game. I assume the Ringed City is somewhere inside or behind it. In the description of the screenshot we can read, a traditional city for the pygmies called the Ringed City. Half covered in foliage, the city looks desolated with ancient ruins. In this context, it is very interesting that it mentions pygmies. And guess who found the Dark Soul? Yes, the pygmies. In the first DLC of Dark Souls 3, the Dark Soul of Man is also mentioned. The painter's uncle searches for it, but I come back to that later in the video. In my prediction video, I mentioned the following options for a possible DLC 2 setting. Maybe they come back to the popular Abyss and Darkness setting. In the first DLC we find, for example, the Millwood Greatbow, and its description talks about an Abyss Dragon. Connected to that, we could visit Londor, since Ashes of Ariandel is directly connected to the Sable Church of Londor, with Friede being Uria's sister, and we probably meet Darkstalker Case, the Master of Uria, again. I first thought maybe this creature is the Abyss Dragon, but there's another possibility. If we look at the data mined unused content from Dark Souls 3, we will find an unused boss soul. We can read Soul of the Great Bat, sealed away deep beneath the earth. The wording sealed away deep beneath the earth seems to be connected to the second DLC. Not only does its enemy look like a giant bat, but in the video description of the Ringed City announcement trailer we can also read: "At the close of the Age of Fire, as the world ends and all lands converge upon themselves, a lone adventurer descends into the madness of the earth and uncovers the secrets of the past." It seems we are also going deep into the earth in this DLC, which would fit the soul description. Who or what exactly this bat is remains mostly unknown. We only have this hint that we can find in the description of the screenshot. The last survivor of demons who were born from the flame of chaos, dwelling below the land. With a grotesque look, having been exposed to poison, their flame is fading away. The flame of chaos is related to Aetherless. I can't really make much sense out of it right now, but the description also mentions that this demon is below the land, and his fire theme seems to fit to Aetherless. Maybe we get some story connections in the DLC. Let's move on. We see this giant black-haired woman in the trailer. Well, Velka was black-haired and we speculated a lot about her, but I think that woman is someone different. Her clothes are maybe somewhat similar to Yoshka's, and she is holding something that looks like an egg. My theory is she is either somebody completely unknown, like the painters or Yoshka's mother, or a special kind of firekeeper, or the youngest sister of Friede and Yuria, Liliane. Or she is, and this is the most likely variant for me, Gertrude, the Queen's Holy Maiden, mentioned in Dark Souls 3. In the Divine Pillars of Light miracle, we can read about Gertrude. Miracle of Gertrude, the Heavenly Daughter. The Queen's Holy Maiden Gertrude was visited by an angel who revealed this tale to her. Despite losing both her sight and voice, she was determined to record the tale. Ordinary men cannot decipher her fragmentary scroll, nor comprehend how it became the foundation of the angelic faith of Lothric. With this, we know a few things about Gertrude. She was the Queen's Holy Maiden, and we find several hints of her in Dark Souls 3. Her white dress seems fitting for a Holy Maiden founding the angelic faith of Lothric. Also, it could be assumed that Guinevere is a queen. It would fit somewhat, but this part in Dark Souls 3's lore is very confusing, and I have some different theories about it. The eyes of that woman seem to be damaged, and we know Gertrude was blind too. As mentioned, her clothes have something angel-like. If she would have wings, it would seem to fit. As the Queen's Maiden, she maybe looked after Ocelot, and that is why she has his egg, assuming he is also some kind of dragon breed. I also thought about it being a damage transposing kiln instead of an egg, but it looks more like an egg to be honest, and the kilns are from a place called Corland. I can't make much sense out of this idea. We know that the Winged Knights are related to Gertrude. Now look at this guy from the official screenshot album. He looks like a Winged Knight, but his insight is that of humanity of Dark Souls 1 or has some similarities to Dark Souls 2's counterpart, the human effigy, which is definitely another Dark Souls 2 reference, and we also see the earthen peak-like windmill in the background. We can also see the banner of Winged Knights in the trailer. With this, we are again at the humanity, darkness, Dark Soul, abyss theme, and also the painter said that her uncle is searching for the Dark Soul of men in the previous DLC.
Soon, Uncle Gale will bring me the pigment. I wonder if he has found it, the Dark Soul of man.
We would have a big connection here. With all those points, I'm pretty sure this is Gertrude, and that this angelic face of Gertrude has some connection to the Church of Londor. What would speak for Liliane is that she would have a connection to the previous DLC, and that this must be definitely the Sable Church of Londor. If we are in Londor and at the church, why wouldn't we meet Liliane there? And maybe she is somehow connected to Gertrude. What would speak against her is that I assume we see her and Yuria in the Usurper of Fire ending, and with this she would have a normal size as her sisters. Then we have some scenes I can't really connect, for example this strange creature. This could be some form of a pilgrim butterfly, and it makes sense. The word pilgrim is also connected through these guys, the pilgrims of Londor, and with them we are again at Londor. Just a random thought, in the description of the Slave Knight armor we can read, they grew decrepit, their skin charred black and their bones twisted. Eventually they went outright mad, but were never relieved from duty. I wonder if we learn something about this. Maybe slave knights like Gale transform into some kind of monster when they go mad. Just a random thought of mine. But let's move on. At the beginning of the trailer we see that the dark sign turns black and white like the sun in the Usurper of Fire ending. So another hint to Londor and their goals? Also, this would fit to the end of the world theme, since Londor wants to break the cycle of the Age of Fire. Another part I can't find a good connection for is this giant man. He grabs something, most likely the player, which we don't see. It looks a bit like a cutscene, so maybe this is a story element or some kind of transportation. Or he is a Covenant NPC, maybe a boss. We can read in the photo album, a grey giant who has existed since the Archdragon was found. The giant used to be a judicator working under the gods. We know Archdragon Peak is connected to Gwyn's firstborn son, the Nameless King, and we know that Gwyn bent him into exile. Maybe this judicator was also involved in this process of banning him. And my last point, we have this fan weapon that looks like the weapon of those pyromancy desert sorceresses from Dark Souls 2. They are also from Earthen Peak, which would be the second reference to it. Also, if we think about the giant bad boss, he looks pyromancy related and he is linked to the Flame of Chaos and probably from Ithilith. Interesting is that Earthen Peak was full of poison, and we can read that this bad demon was also exposed to poison. Desert sorceresses, pyromancy, Flame of Chaos, Ithilith, bad demon, poison, Earthen Peak, maybe a connection. I really like that the new DLC seems to reference Dark Souls 2 a bit more. And this wraps up my video. I hope you enjoyed it. It was kind of hard to bring all my thoughts into some kind of order in such a short time. If you have some interesting ideas, feel free to post them in the comments. If we get another trailer, you can be sure that I will make another video. So consider the YouTube things or follow me on Twitter for updates. Thank you for watching and goodbye.